folks, this is Jason from MrTheBigMan.net once again. Just going to go through the last in my series of Kong tutorials in regards to setting up certain things. This one, first of all, we're going to look at using the Nurse Rex player to control of one pad or all of the pads in case there's a sound that we actually want from a Rex loop outside of using Dr. Rex itself or Dr. Octorok itself. And then secondly, we're going to look at using the effects externally so that there's nothing coming from the Kong apart from the effects units themselves. So we'll just turn this one off for the time being. Okay, so what I want to do is use pad 1 to use a Nurse Rex. So we'll just click on the programmer here, choose Nurse Rex loop player. I'm just going to choose a Rex loop. Okay, it's fairly innocuous. If we press play, it'll play it right out through on the one pad. But if we press this pad, nothing's there because obviously the Rex player is there. Now what we might want to be able to do is split this out across all of the pads so that we can use the separate sounds or just create our own loops from that. And essentially how you do it is through the viewer here. So we want to choose chunk trig for each one. The reason for that is because it cuts it into chunks across all the different pads, but we actually need to set up the pads first in order to use the same Rex loop as everything else. So just click on the wee Q here for the Finder, and that brings us up the actual pad edit screen for each of the pads, so we can see that on this pad 2 is going to be hit, etc, etc. So we just change all these to 1 like so. Okay, so we'll do it on 8 just to show, and then we just click on the viewer, and we want to change this to number 2, which is the chunk trig. Essentially all this is doing is slicing up all of those sounds and putting it across the 8 pads. Obviously we can do it for all the pads, but we just want to show it quickly here, and we just come back out of that, and you'll see now we now have all of the separate sounds, although it's the same one because of the loop itself, triggered on each of the actual pads itself. Fairly straightforward, really easy to use. We just then go onto the sequencer and program in what we want then from there. The last part, I'm just going to take Kong out here, and I'm going to put in a new one, but I'm going to put in a Dr. Rex player first. I'll just play the loop that's in here. It's the standard one that gets loaded in. Fairly straightforward. What I want to be able to do with that is use the actual effects in Kong to really work with the sound on that particular pad. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drag it in, but I'm going to shift and drag it in so it doesn't loop or connect it up in any way. And then I'm going to flip around the back of the rack and disconnect the output of the Rex player. Okay, we'll just take those out now. Then what we want to do is we want to take the output of this and put it into the external effects. The external effects are down here. You have to excuse me for a minute, my mouse isn't playing the game today at all. And you can see the inputs here for the bus effects and also the master effects. Now it will only work on those 2 slots. So what I'm going to do is drag that down to the bus effect to here, and then I'm going to take the output of the Kong and put it into the mix channel. So now you'll be able to hear the loop. So now all I'm going to do is I'm going to initialize the patch. I'm going to drop down to the bus effects where I've put it into. For this, just to let you hear it, I'm going to put the ring modulator on it. So hopefully you'll be able to hear now that I'm now using this effect as in the ring modulator to create a better sound. Let's stick the compressor on it. And that's essentially how you do it. So that's the last in the current series of Exploration Kong. I may add more in the future, but we'll be doing another exploration series fairly soon. Okay, so thanks very much.